We need to get a schedule going whenever we're set up, but I'll do that after I get all this, because I think I just started the stream. Hi, everybody! What?
Yes, you did.
Hey!
You got notified.
Eagle Eye Gaming is live because he's stupid and accidentally hit start stream before he was done talking.
Is your phone off?
Nope.
Mine wasn't either.
Nope, I am being completely unprofessional today. Ah, shit!
Obviously, you keep sneezing.
Jesus! I don't know where this is coming from, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, which one's which? What am I doing anymore? If you guys haven't noticed, there's a giant picture of Borderlands back there. That's just because I have no other picture, so get over it. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Lonely. I am so lonely. Ah! Reverb echo mic. Ha 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 ha. Alright, from the Eagle to the people, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today, and today is the fabulous day where you get to talk with us because this is our podcast time. So I'm here with Cake and Stitches and Private Panda.
Hello.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody. Yep.
There we go. I'm in the room
And
now.
Panda's now in the room so she can hear Cake. Woohoo! See? I jumped in without even starting up because I was an idiot. So how's it going? Alright, so we were going to rant and rave about World of Warcraft, Diablo, and basically any game that we can think of. Which, by the way, I am going to go ahead and say, hopefully you guys, we're going to get Cake into playing the Forest, so that'll be coming up sometime fairly soon. And possibly get Cake on a raft.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Whoa, that was
I like the idea of fighting dinosaurs. I wasn't too interested in that.
Yeah, well this one's cannibals, and it's a little bit different, so it should be fun.
But at least I did enjoy the dinosaurs pooping.
Yes.
And defecating.
The word
I
defecate
did
is like
enjoy
the
that.
price of part of that.
That, the drums.
Yeah, the drums are pretty good too.
And getting locked in a cage for a birthday gift.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Hey, I left you
With
snakes. I left you some Titan boas for that.
Yeah.
Woohoo! By the way, guys,
That
I'm
was
sorry
a good
about the slight
holler.
vacuuming noise going on in the background. That's just because other people are working and we have a construction zone. What is up, Centifuel? How's it going, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. So, Cake, myself, and Panda are all going to try to schedule out a day, one day per week, that we can take an hour and get these podcasts going for you guys, seeing how you guys keep requesting it. I don't know why you guys like this. I really don't. Like, I just sit here and we talk about games and we piss and moan about everything going on in life. Like, today I went to the VA and it was horrible.
And
It was
Cake
horrible.
was arguing with the VA.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm serious. So, before we even get into the games, I gotta tell you about this, because this was just crazy. So, the other day I went to the VA because I'm supposed to go and see a therapist because I'm insane, which is probably true because I work on YouTube, and anybody who works on YouTube or Twitch is probably not right in the head somewhere. But, anyway, I go in and I see this therapist, and he's like, oh, well, you're a manic paranoia and you have manic depression, even though I have no signs of depression at all whatsoever. Like, period. I don't get depressed. I get angry. There's a difference. So instead of that, he decides I need anger management. I need to go through psychosis therapy and some other therapy, and he wants to put me on antidepressants, which is freaking hilarious because, okay, let's put Eagle on antidepressants and just up his mood even more than it already is, because you guys have seen me lately. I'm kind of off the walls, so let's go for extreme crazy. So I'm sitting there, and this guy, this is what I get to hear while he's talking. He's doing this, and he's talking, I'm getting, because he's smashing his keyboard around, and what that is, if you're not a vet with PTSD, you'll understand that they do this because they want to trigger you. They want to see if you're going to jump or move or do anything stupid. Well, not all PTSD works underneath the standard that I'm going to jump because a freaking noise happened. So I'm yelling at this guy to shut up and stop doing that.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, it's basically like, it's like that
Your-
kid who's just
like
smacking
us.
in your ear. Yeah.
I mean, that would just annoy me in general.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, you need to stop. You're making me mad. That's as simple as that is. And so he decided to write me this script, and it's got a foxin, amphetamine, or some crap in it. Something that I'm allergic to. And I was like, dude, does this fall underneath this category? And he's like, well, no, it's fine. You can take it. Don't worry. You'll sleep through the side effects. Sleep through the side effects is never the thing I want to hear when you're about to put a medication in my body.
By the way, I'm totally playing Raft while we talk.
Yeah, that's fine. So, we're sitting there and we're having a great old time with that and doing whatever. I go in today to see a new doctor. Again, a new doctor, because I've been doing this for 15 doctors now. So I got a doctor that I really like. She's being transferred to Korea, which is like freaking perfect. So I got 2 sessions with her, got some of my medications and stuff put together, and I see this new doctor, and I put this thing down in front of her, and she's like, why is this guy trying to kill you? It is bad when the freaking doctors in the place are telling you that that is actually the worst psychologist you have, and you couldn't have gotten a worse person to work with. I was like, yep. You're awesome. And then he's trying to warn me about how I'm volatile and my wife shouldn't be with me and this, that, and the other. I'm like, shut up, you. So
I'll be with whoever I want to be with. Gosh.
That's
Tell
basically
me how I live my life.
That's basically the VA in a nutshell for you guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go in, get treated like crap. So all of you who think that we get treated with like praise and heroism, and no, I walked in today to be yelled at because I have blue hair by other vets, because apparently that's indifferent and unprofessional when my job is YouTube. Number one, I can do whatever I want with my hair, and if I cared what anybody thought about it, I would have changed it to black years ago. So,
I mean, you did have it black for a while.
So bite me in the butt cheeks and suck my rectum. I'm doing my hair how I want to do it.
I have a mohawk, and it's always bright and colorful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get the same.
It's stupid. Like
I can actually confirm everything he's saying because it's happened to me. And listen to this. You would think them for so many years, over a decade now, they wouldn't have to ask me which eye is the injured eye. You would think they would have good enough documentation, right?
Oh God,
no.
Oh no.
It shouldn't be surprised. You're giving me money for it, so you should at least know.
Exactly.
There's a memo in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I guess the TPS report didn't get filed.
Right? Did we not get the memo? Is everybody not on the same page again? Okay, my name is Cake and Stitches. I'm missing my right eye.
Left eye.
I know. I said
Left
right
eye.
on purpose. I said right on purpose. I know which eye you're missing. It's just funny.
No, he actually forgot.
Everybody got their file together. Okay, Cake's missing his left pinky and his right eye, and then he's got a crooked big toe. Did we get that right? Ask him. Ask him. Go ask him. Go. Come back with good information. So yeah. No, the VA is terrible. So if you guys haven't been to the VA and you think that we get treated beautifully, we don't. We go through doctor after doctor who tries to kill us. I have literally been on death row thanks to the VA twice now. So, yay. They have 2 for trying to kill me, 1 for saving my butt. Woohoo! That's not a very good win streak, though.
No, not really.
Not really at all. So yeah, now I get to take medication that's supposed to help me quit smoking, which, by the way, guys, yes, that's going to happen, so shut up. I know I smoke. Get over it. Been doing it for 20 years. But that habit's supposed to be going away soon, which will hopefully save me money, and then I'm going to be bouncing off the walls because apparently these medications are supposed to make me really hyper.
Great.
So instead of getting just normal ADHD eagle, you're going to have extreme ADHD eagle. So it's going to be like...
Don't you know that I still have to deal with you?
Yep. I'm going to be in a video game playing with you guys, and I'm going to be hanging out like, hey guys, check out this... Whoa! Squirrel.
Are we just gonna have to start calling you Captain Coffee?
Oh yeah, I am actually going to use that as a logo. So that thing I sent you earlier, guys, I'm going to update my logo eventually, so you can stop worrying about that as well. But I'm going to use that picture I sent you, and I'm going to have me holding that as he's running in the air. And then I'm going to like Photoshop my actual logo onto his mug. It's going to be great. Because Cake's got a cool logo. Cake's got a Cake and Stitches logo. I've got just me. Hey guys, look. Woo! Alright. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Just in camera. Boink. Now you can see me. I'm big. Alright, guys. So, what we wanted to talk about today, we were going to jump on, and we've been talking about doing this podcast for, like, ever. The game that basically brought all gamers together in this generation is World of Warcraft, and there is so many things that went wrong with World of Warcraft, so many things that started off really well with vanilla World of Warcraft that we wanted to talk about that. Because I forget his name, but screw that guy. Yeah. So Cake has quite the tale to tell you about World of Warcraft, I'm sure. All the things that had made him mad and drove him crazy. I think Cake's texting somebody. Or fell off the face of the planet.
Probably both.
Cake. Cake. Cake, are you there? Alright guys, I'm just going to message Cake on a side note and see if he answers. So anyway, I'm going to jump into it and just start talking about it because that's where I think we should start off. What was good about World of Warcraft? This is what I want to hear from you guys as well, so feel free to jump into this conversation at any point. Tell me your thoughts. World of Warcraft, when it first came out, and I'm going to say this because I really do, I do believe this, it was a great design game. Open world, beautiful quest line, everything was put together nicely, and you had to work for what you got. The grind was a little grindy at times, but still worth it. So when you got to those endgame raids, everybody was perfectly aligned to each other. You worked with groups that worked with each other, so on and so forth, right? Yeah. So, with that being the case, that was the thing that I really enjoyed about the game, and it brought a really nice community, and people were respectful, you worked with each other, you got the gear you needed, things were worked out just pretty much exactly how they needed to be. And that was one thing that I really enjoyed. I also liked the fact that it was the first online game where I could play with other people or ignore everybody else and do my own thing, which was a huge deal for me, because if I can't ignore everybody else and I'm forced to play with other people like Fortnite, I'm probably not going to be as excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Cake's having mic issues at the moment. Oh, I almost hear him. I thought.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but
okay.
I'm cutting in that.
I
pretty much got to just look about it as far as like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like I did hear that.
Yeah, we're starting off with World of Warcraft. And like I said, like I was saying, what I like about that, and guys, I'm leaning close to the mic so that way Cake can hear me. Actually, I'm gonna bring the mic closer to me so that way I'm not leaning over like a weirdo. Anyway, can you hear me better, Cake?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Yeah, it's also Discord. It's being kind of funky. I don't know what's going on
Yeah,
with
even
the
for
servers.
me, Cake is.
Yeah, you're getting like that metallic sound going.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Occasionally. It's not like I can't hear you, but it's pretty good. Anyway, like I said, I like the World of Warcraft vanilla style. When you had to work for everything you got at level 40, you went to do a quest to get your mount, which was like the biggest deal ever.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Yes.
Yes, Kate. Yes, I can hear you, sir.
I can't hear you.
Is there that metallic sound in the?
No, you fixed it. You're good. You're good.
Go figure. Okay.
Yep.
Here's my window unit. So cool. I'm gonna sweat my balls.
You can turn your window thing on. It's not your window.
No.
It's Discord. It does it anyway.
Ah, whatever.
Yeah. No, I want to sit here and sweat my balls off. Let me do what I want to do. I am a grown man and can
Because
say.
I want to get or.
Oh, you want abs like Eagle?
This has been a conversation that's been been had for a long time. Love-hate relationship with World of Warcraft.
Yep. Because he wants the abs like Eagle. Say abs. Sorry, couldn't help it. Alright, so, yes, what I liked about World of Warcraft was the vanilla stuff. Up until about, I'd say Burning Crusades was when I really kind of started falling off of it. But I liked the fact that they had a really good quest line. You had the option of playing with other players or playing with yourself. Having a good group of friends was like key to getting any kind of dungeon raid thing done, and that was pretty cool. So you kind of got to meet people, learn how they work, and so on and so forth. The power leveling was awesome. I liked the maps. I liked the fact that you had variety. You could get a bunch of stuff that was actually worth getting Instead of like now where you go in and it's basically handed to you on a silver platter if you have money. So those were the things I liked about World of Warcraft. And then whoever that guy is, Bill something, that dude that came in and changed World of Warcraft, screw that guy.
Bobby Coe.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah. That dude ruined World of Warcraft. Absolutely ruined it.
That was more like rap.
Yeah. That was more like what, Cake?
That was more during, I think that was when it really changed. Like, Burning Crusade was a good expansion from vanilla.
Yeah.
It definitely, I feel, overall, it made it, you know, it fine-tuned it. It was still a great, challenging game. It, you know, wasn't handed to you. Wrath was when you started to see people charging gold through items, and then it was all about gear score and
yeah, which I still, to this day, I still don't understand.
It got ridiculous. It got ridiculous at the end of that. Like, a good expansion in itself up to like the Citadel area.
Yeah, that's about right. I'd say. See, the part that I was even willing to deal with all that. It was when they brought in that Panda expansion, that Mist garbage, because Kung Fu Panda came out and they had to jump on board with that. That's when I lost all interest in the game, because that's when they literally it was just like, here, have it. Here's a pile of crap. Add on to it. Go play. Everybody gets everything they want, and if you got gold, you can get a flying mount that looks like a Chinese dragon or this, that, and the other, but everybody else can't have it because you don't have a wallet.
I have to agree with you. That's when they really went like all out with it. Like, we're just gonna pander to like, you know, exactly who's gonna buy it. Because you got to look at it. The diehard fans of like the game, like we're the ones that have been dropping off. Like, you know, the height of their subscription base was like early Cataclysm. It started to go. The thing, World of Warcraft just keeps bleeding people. You know, you got a couple of diehard people that have played quite you know, he just plays the game for questing. Like, he doesn't even do raids or PvP really or anything like that. No, he does do a little bit of PvP, but he plays just for the quests, and I'm just like,
yeah. Well, nowadays,
you haven't thought to play any.
Well, I can give him credit for that too, because the quests you can do and that's fine, but nowadays it's stupid hard to get into a raid. It's retarded to try to get into a dungeon, which that dungeon finder garbage, I hate that. I absolutely hate pulling a pug group with the dungeon finder, because you either get like, you go through 5 groups and then you get one good group and nobody wants to save for another run. So a run that should take, in essence, 10-15 minutes takes 4 or 5 hours to do because you got a really crappy group. But then you're punished for leaving the group by not being able to enter a dungeon for another 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
I think that depends. Play on. I had a lot with pugs on my servers, but the thing that though is like they're very it favors the typically either very horde heavy or very alliance heavy, and if you're on the wrong on a server, you're gonna have experience. Like, you can't even make the argument that PvP is enjoyable because it's so one-sided.
Dude, PvP sucked miserably. And that was the thing I hated about it, too. It didn't matter how good of a group you got together with that. It was either... I did feel like it was very much leaned towards the other side. Like, I played Alliance on Sinjin a lot. And I played with my father, and that's the whole reason I got into the game, was because my dad played it, and it was the first time that me and him really got a chance to connect and play a game. Which was cool and all, but when you went to PvP, it was like, no matter what we did, even as a healer-tank combo, you couldn't do anything. a rogue would come out of nowhere and you'd be wiped out, or you'd be hit by a warlock, which is probably the squishiest thing in the game, and you get 2 hits and you're done. And then, especially when they came out with that gear score crap, that always drove me crazy, because I could play my character better than half the people with a better gear score than me. But I couldn't get into a raid because my gear score wasn't high enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was dumb. That was dumb. I think my biggest issue with World of Warcraft is they made it an open world looter that just became give you everything you want. There was no working for it anymore. It was just, here you go, it's right there in front of you, have at it, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, now
Yeah, they did so many things that killed their own game, and it should have just been,
Yeah.
like, you know, start doing again, and that basically that one that you built the whole expansion around Warlords of Draenor,
Yeah.
or Draenor, or whatever, how you
Yeah, the Warlords of Draenor, or whatever.
Draenor.
Yeah.
It's good sessions. So the people like me who have, you know, I took breaks, but I ultimately always came back.
Yeah.
That, you know, it was area. I played that very, like, I looked at it and I was just like, wow, I'm glad I came in fashionably late to this, because this is like, I do appreciate some of the stuff they did with, as far as like the art, but like, you know,
Yeah. See,
that I just, the pandas was kind of,
Pandas was a joke. The
I
Pandas
feel
was a
like
joke. That was an afterthought.
also have with the monks
Yeah.
as the class is, you just killed the class that I played from the get.
Pretty much. Yeah. You basically made
Killed the
the.
rest. Basically, nail in the coffin, which they were already on the decline anyways. But the second you put in, you killed any reason to ever play a rogue, because people are now between a druid or a monk with way more utility than a rogue.
Yep.
All of
Yep. Hey, Cake, do me a favor. Reload Discord real quick,
okay.
because you're doing that cut-in thing. I mean, and I'm just saying, like, refresh the page or something. Just see if that helps it. Sorry, guys, we're trying to work with it. Audio issues are always going to be a problem no matter what we do, so that's something we work with here. Unless it's me and I'm losing internet connection. I doubt it. Am I streaming in 4K? Is that what's going on? No, I'm streaming in 720. Okay. There. Did he reload?
How about now?
You sound good now. Okay. Senti
Okay,
says
cool.
it sounds fine to him.
Not all jumpy.
Yeah, it was weird. You were jumpy in my ears, which is why I just told you to reload, because sometimes that fixes it. Yeah, I do agree with you. The panda monk class was freaking stupid. That was like bringing out the Death Knight was cool when he first came out, but he was way overpowered and made tanks look like garbage. And then all of a sudden they jumped out with upgrade the Death Knight and come out with the monk, and then you basically killed off hunters, rogues, or any kind of DPS class aside from that. Because everybody wanted to be a monk, which could be a tank, a healer, or a DPS, or everybody wanted to be a Death Knight that can do tank, healing, DPS. It was like, even as a hunter, and I played a hunter pretty heavy, I could not pull aggro from a tank. When they brought out the monk, I could never out aggro a monk, which is bullcrap, because with a monk, it can't, in any way, shape, or form, put out as much damage as I was doing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, with that being the case, it was kind of like that hit or miss in between, and it was like, okay, so I got no reason to play my hunter anymore. My rogue is absolute garbage. Anything the rogue was used for stealth was just null and void at that point, because they turned it into like a gunzerker base, which is I think basically that's the best way to describe it. When they came out with the monk and the Death Knight, they made gunzerker.
They feral druids too, because monk hopefully did more damage. Or it would just basically make a feral, like they killed rogues. I naturally went through it because I was like, well, you know, basically a rogue but with utility again.
Yeah, that's it.
And I like monks just stupid.
Yeah.
In Death Knights, once they introduced Death Knight, okay, boil is the stupidest move ever in the game because it's just one hit spam and
pretty much.
You're right.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree with that. Like I said, World of Warcraft had some really, really nice points though, and that I will give it. When it first came out, that vanilla, that really beautiful grind to get what you wanted, that feeling that you earned your spot up in a raid or you earned all that stuff. It was there and it was great. Like there was that perfect balance right there between how hard you had to work and the payoff at the end. Now I was a diehard World of Warcraft person. I probably played for 6 years solid without stopping. And then when you came out with
that they buckle the pressure, try to cater and what they thought was going to broaden more easier, but no, the diehard people from the very beginning resented the game change pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, we fought back pretty quick and fell off.
People over just like content with it because said that game made up like so many people. I was so bad I would honestly play the game for about 14 hours a day. And set an alarm clock just to be up to be able to have time to farm everything. Like raiding because that's like all I cared about. That was in Burning Crusade of the game.
Yeah, and then they came out with Cataclysm.
Pretty much all of it. Yeah. I liked all the different zones. I liked the story area. I liked the all the the majority of the fights were all pretty memorable in their own way, and if you were in a moderately top tier moderate, and we got a couple weeks behind everybody. See, that's what was great about it then too. There was so much pride because I was playing from the get on the div. We were the best server in America, but they left the server, and when by Burning Crusade, a lot of good just split up, went every which way.
Yeah.
And
well, that was the thing.
There was issues right from the get-go, because it's like, $15 a month is actually a pretty good amount of money when you think about it, and I mean.
Yeah, well, you had, 1.9 million players on that game at any given time? Yeah, so $15 times 1.9 million, you're making quite a bit of bank, plus whatever in-game purchases you're doing. So you knew that was making more money, too.
Yeah, so there's no reason for servers to be that...
Yeah.
Where...
And I could say...
Possibly, content.
Yeah.
But... they've gotten better, they've gotten better. They figured out ways to handle that, like the all that.
Yeah, their overload on the server was pretty
some
impressive.
things but what it really, when push comes to shove, was just they took all the difficulty right out of the game. And
it basically became
we used to call because it was just like I know it's mean, but it's true though. It's like and a legendary or whatever ring. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, see, the other thing I really hated was when they added that loot sack or whatever, where you would get stupid good gear out of a sack if you came into a raid and you just sat there. As long as the raid was basically finished, you got rewarded for it. There was no consequence for you being a really crappy player on that too.
Yeah, see, I have a problem with that.
Yeah. The biggest issue I had with the game too is you took it initially. You built that game for adult players, teenage players, people who would enjoy a hard, moderately difficult game to kind of get up there and have that grind time, and then be able to hang out with their friends or whatever and do these raids and try to outsmart or out strategize this, that, and the other. And basically, by Warlords of Draenor. And I'm going to say by Warlords of Draenor because it went well before that. But by that, you turned it into every 5-year-old on the planet has this game. And that's kind of where things just went way downhill. Like, I love the Warlords of Draenor expansion, which is really bad because I know you hated it, Cake, but I really like the whole building your own base type thing. They did it completely wrong. Like, the way they built the base, it was like, oh, you can't design it your own way. You can't kind of add things that you want. It was just...
Real quick.
Yeah.
Were you Horde or Alliance?
I was Horde. I played Alliance for a while, and then I jumped to Horde.
Horde's base looked like a glorified tree fort, where at least if I played the Alliance, I would have been like, alright, this is a pretty cool garrison.
Yeah. My garrison on Alliance was super...
terrible to me.
I played the Alliance on that one because my dad was playing it when I was
expected so much more at it.
Yes.
For depth.
Yes. Now that I can agree with.
Than what we got.
Yep. See, now the Horde side, yes, it was very much, here's a stick, here's a flag, there you go, that's your garrison. The Alliance side, I will say, was a bit more evolved. It looked a lot neater and a lot more cleaned up. So they took more time, obviously, to do the Alliance side. But
here's what I also don't understand. You know, like I said, Warlords of Draenor was the last one I played. But why would you point to make this thing like the garrison, and then by the next expansion completely undealt with?
Yeah, that was the big thing I lost. But they lost a lot of players during that. And it wasn't, like I said, the expansion would have been really a nice way to bring back the original players. And I say that because Warlords of Draenor had a lot of the things that we had talked about as original players. We would talk about it would be really cool to build your own base or your own garrison, but what they did is they took all of the creative build away from you. They gave you a garrison and said, here you go, here's your quest, here's the same thing you've been playing. Don't bother trying to design this because, yes, you can add a building here or add a building there.
I feel like the fights in that game were actually kind of like, I thought the fights were pretty boring.
Mm-hmm. Well, even the whole aftermath of it was...
Pandaria, I thought, was the same.
Oh my god,
like
the biggest joke expansion ever. That was the one that made me stop playing for the first time. Like,
what?
The Mist of Pandaria. When they came out with that, I was like, oh cool, this could be cool, and then I played it for like 5 minutes and was like, I hate this, I'm never playing this game again. And I literally put World of Warcraft out for like 2 years. And would not touch it.
Yeah, no, I didn't play it from the beginning. I took a break after Cataclysm, and then I started playing pretty much right when they launched the last raid.
Yeah. See, now, don't get me wrong, I liked playing the Mist thing when you got back into the real world and could play it, but that was when they just started handing things out. There wasn't a challenging boss anymore. A 5-man team could take on a 40-man raid, which was just insane. It was like, how did you scale your difficulty so far back? They basically, like, I'm going to say this.
They've never been good with balance. They've never been good with balance of their games, to be honest.
Well, initially, like I said, when World of Warcraft first came out, I would say it was very well balanced. Like, when the vanilla WoW was out there, that would be what I would consider a really well balanced game. The difficulty was hard enough that 5 people would struggle, but you'd still be able to get it. You know what I mean?
See, I kind of feel like it was when they had it the most balanced, I think, and then they domestically. I feel like, you know, certain classes, certain specs might have needed more of a tweak, but
yeah,
I feel like
I
as a
agree with it.
Was kind of
yeah. That I can definitely agree with where the classes needed to tweak, but that was pretty. It was pretty well balanced for the minor indecencies of it or inconveniences of the bad balancing. It really, Vanilla WoW was the place to be, in my opinion. That was, if you started in Vanilla WoW, you would
say so as well.
Yep. And if you're sitting here in my stream and you're going to tell me that World of Warcraft is a good game, I'm going to look at you and tell you, honestly, did you even play the vanilla? Because the Vanilla WoW was a good game. What they turned it into now is not a good game. It's very much Fortnite. And that's my issue with Fortnite, too, while I'm on that note. Fortnite did the same problem. They started out with this great potential game, did fantastic with it, and by the third zone just dropped off and said, we're not going to finish it. Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's alright. I read your comment saying you didn't play Centric. I would never suggest playing. If World of Warcraft was like it is now, and it was like, okay, pay $25 and you get free access for the rest of your life to it, yeah, maybe, okay, buy it. It would be worth trying at that point. But to charge me $15 a month to play a game that I'd rather go and play Borderlands is stupid. It's just asinine at that point. That's the word I can get to. And like I said, I'm not mad at the franchise so much, but it was like you ruled the gaming company. You were the game of the century, and you basically shot yourself in the ass.
Yeah, basically.
And then all that did, and in my opinion, it's only set a predecessor for every other game to follow. It's like, oh, World of Warcraft's the wheel. Look at how well they're doing. Yeah, they're doing well because they have a bunch of kids that are like, oh, give me free stuff. But die-hard players are not there anymore.
Some of them still are.
Well, maybe some of them, but like the original group of diehards who played for like 6 to 8 years, they're just not there anymore. Because
Adam would be if his computer would work.
Yeah, well, Adam's weird.
Well, he also realized that when he got his computer fixed, that they actually installed the fan in backwards, and that's why his computer was overheating.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Well, like I said, the way the game goes now, I very much feel like it should be a one-time, maybe $39.99 purchase, and then you can play it forever. Like, I don't feel like you have a game that's worth me spending $15.
Oh, God, no.
Which sucks, because the newest expansion, I did play the newest expansion, which was, what, that one with the Demon Hunter in it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, though.
And then when you cap the level at, like, 115, when the level cap when I played was, like, freaking 60, and that was awesome to get there because you spent 6 months playing to get there. Like, come on.
Now it takes, like, 2 seconds.
Yeah, I literally took a character from level 1 to 115, or whatever the cap level is, now in about 20 hours. 20 hours of gameplay, whereas 20 hours of gameplay in Vanilla WoW would have gotten me maybe half a level. Is Cake still there? Did we lose Cake?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know what's funny is, think about it, that's exactly what they did wrong, though.
Yeah, that is. That's exactly the note that every other game past that
You
is
needed
following.
that time as a new player to learn how to play your class. So that way, by the time you did do the 5-man dungeons and you did do the 10-man dungeons, you did go into... You had an idea of, like, where you kind of stack.
Mm-hmm.
The game was more of balances. Now it's just a giant free-for-all.
And that's it. And then the looter system where you roll for your stuff instead of just agreeing.
Like, now you just get it randomly.
That I don't like that. Like when you can walk in and now you can click on greed or need, and then you roll for it, and somebody else gets that stuff. It's like back when I played, you
like
had
there
that,
was like an actual dice that rolled for you.
Well, back when I was playing originally, you could take that and you could do that, and you'd have your team, and you'd go in and be like, okay, this piece of gear drops, this guy gets it, and that's how it should have been. But now it's this piece of gear drops, roll for it. Oh, you needed it, but this guy wanted it, so he needed it anyway. Now that guy's got your gear, and you can't trade it or anything. Like, sure, you can do a 15-minute trade, but that dude's a douche and doesn't want to give you your piece.
Yeah.
Like, there's no collaborative teamwork anymore. It's just, oh, I can jump into any group and do any raid at any time. I don't have to schedule time off or do anything like that. I'm gonna log in and play a raid, guys. I don't know you people, but I'm gonna steal your gear. Again, it became a very, very hand-free for all, give-it-out game. And every game I've played since then, including Fortnite, has done the same thing. You made a really good game in the beginning.
Here. This ties in World of Warcraft and Fortnite both have in common, really badly actually, leechers.
Yes.
People who are there to just blatantly, absolutely nothing.
And get
you know, at least in World of Warcraft there was a way to kick them.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with the op.
Yep.
Gotta go through this whole stupid process, and sometimes it fucking blows their face.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with the guy.
Which
like,
is
pick anybody. You could have just move the mouse ever. Don't get you know.
yeah,
doing
exactly.
At least something.
Yeah, when I can build you into a
I
box.
forget how long if you sit still, like they kick you, but
I think it's like 5 minutes, but still, if you sit there and I can build a box around you and do the entire match, and you still haven't moved out of that box, you shouldn't get anything from me.
No, God, no.
But Fortnite's just a hand me out on that one too. They're like, here you go, you were in the game, you get rewarded. Like, I don't agree with that at all.
I'm sorry. There's a, you know, you're inactive. You know, you should be punished for not. You should be punished for not being active.
Yeah.
Like, you could be searching for something. You should be hitting things. You should be killing husks. If you seriously just even on the map, just walking around the edge of the map, avoiding everything.
Yeah.
Like, you should for that.
As long as you're moving.
Yeah,
You should be doing objectives. You should be, especially with a grindy ass game like Fortnite, you managing your time, because I mean, you know, it doesn't make sense to play it otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then that's the other thing too. World of Warcraft, at least.
System.
Huh?
It needs a punish system.
Yes, it really does need a punish system. And World of Warcraft did the same basic thing, but at least, like World of Warcraft, if you didn't like that player, you could vote that player out of the game, and then kick him, and that was fine. The other thing that's nice about World of Warcraft versus Fortnite is that World of Warcraft didn't cost you as much materials to do it, whereas Fortnite, you grind for 6 hours getting metal or whatever it is you're playing, only to burn it all at one match and have that loser sitting there leeching off you. It's like, so you're going to get rewarded and eat up all of the crap that I spent all that extra time hanging out gathering. You're a dick. Straight up, you're just a dick. Don't play the game.
Yeah.
Go play something else. Like, go play.
The other big thing with Fortnite, if you play with pugs, is you're gonna have people who are gonna just think in a level 52 zoner that it's perfectly fine to still use stone. Like, they're at least acknowledging, like, oh, we're not gonna use wood.
No.
Like, that's just the dumbest thing ever, because, you know, the smashers will just
Walk right through that.
obviously tear right through it. Same thing with stone, though, obvious. I mean, I figured that out too, and and then the one guy had the nerve to be like, I don't know why we failed, because you literally, it's this point forward, homie. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, the other thing too is, if you build a specific way, you can use stone. And that's fine, because if you do a double wall system, the smasher's going to get through one and then stop on your second wall.
Yeah.
But when you build a stupid wall and you're going to tell me we failed, and I don't know why we failed, but you refuse to let me upgrade that wall or put traps down, you're an idiot.
Most people don't, when I do pugs, most people don't double wall. They just...
Yeah, single it up and then, oh, that'll work.
They just put like literally around the objective, and then just sometimes so bad and in my face, you know, all right, well, like, you know, I look at her levels, which, see, that's the other thing too I want to correct, right, is like your whole leveling ranking system is just so weird.
Yeah, it makes no damn sense at all.
I mean, it literally shifts around no matter who's in your thing.
Yeah.
You never have a, like, who's going to be a good fit, because I've seen absolutely terrible people with high levels, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I'm with you on that too.
Have a very bad time in Fortnite.
Yeah, I've literally lost all enjoyment of playing Fortnite. It peaked and then it died off, and I don't know how you've been doing that for 6 years with an alpha game, and you made it feel like you just gave up. And that was my biggest issue with Fortnite is, like I said, you get to the third zone, and it literally is just apparent that we gave up, and we're just going to recycle the same trash. I mean, you got four zones. You could have done forest, desert, mountain area. You could have done like a snow cap type thing. You had so many options that you could have done to make that game fantastic and interesting and keep me playing, even if you recycled the same missions and just gave me a new scene. But you literally just put the same crap.
On Earth, there literally is no like backstory.
Yeah.
We don't what the whole storm, what's causing it. We just
yeah.
I wanted to say this earlier because it was a comment that I made about like once you get to the third area, you're like all like thing that it's like you're playing a gutted game.
Yes.
Like you feel like in the beginning for game, and then in the third area you're like, all you got is basic whips from Ray. Like there is that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you're doing the same thing you've been.
Well, that I can agree with. Boy,
I don't know.
That's part of the issue. Yeah, that's my issue. It's way too grindy and it's too repetitive. Like if you had grindy and changed it up, I'd be fine with that. If you had repetitive and not grindy, I'd be fine with that. But because it's stupid grindy and stupid repetitive, it just feels like garbage.
Yeah.
And that's the easiest way to put it. You take dumb grind, too much repetitivity, smash them together, and you basically made a rubbish bin.
Yeah.
Yep. You made a rubbish bin and you called it a game and you sold it as the greatest game ever. And yes, there are going to be some die-hard players on that. This is not like a World of Warcraft thing. It didn't catch my attention for 6 years. It caught my attention for 2 months, if that. You know what I mean? And yeah, your level system there needs work. Because I don't understand what the power level is. Or it took me... I was literally power level 50 before I figured out what the hell that even meant. I was like, are you serious? I should know basically what I need to level and how to do it from the very get-go. Your tutorial was there, but it sucked. Your freaking level system is all over the place. Your weapons are a level 82, which means nothing because the damage is significantly different from a level 20 to an 82, where the 20 could be 10 times the amount of damage. It's like, so what's the point in having a power level at that point? So the whole game just basically flopped on itself. Like, I would sit here and contest and say that Borderlands 2 became difficult, kind of like no real end game play to it. But after playing Fortnite, I would gladly play the ending of Borderlands 2 with nothing to do for 15 years before I play that again. Because at least with Fortnite, you get badass points, you got challenges you could do, or not Fortnite, Borderlands 2, you got challenges you can do end boss raids with your friends, you can hang out, you can test your luck at the OP8 Digi structure, which, by the way, if you haven't done, I have it on my channel. That is horrible.
The good thing about if I'm gonna is I'm gonna say the game is good for co-op. Like you're gonna have fun, you have a good time,
Yes.
whatever. And it doesn't want to feel like killing a dragon.
Yeah, it doesn't want to feel like killing
jumping
a
over
dragon.
the ledge. Go for it. Why not?
I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm just gonna jump. Whee!
Yes.
That was an actual moment, ladies and gentlemen. That actually happened.
The good
And I
thing
did not want to do
the
it.
good thing about Borderlands 2 co-op is it's down to just yourself and still have stuff to be able to do.
Yeah.
You know, you can spread your time out that way. You know,
And
it's not like really you just got to make
Yeah.
just the right. Yeah, you know, I think that's what Borderlands 2. It was like the knowing where the items were, in my opinion, there needed to be more loot, more.
Oh, I agree with you.
There was even some blue items that I felt like had a cool theme, like the
Teeth of Terramorphous was a good one.
Yeah.
That shotgun's
exactly
amazing, but the shotgun's amazing, but it falls subpar to other weapons, which is stupid hard to. It's stupid that I got to go get an end rate boss to get a weapon that I can replace with a white.
What
weapon.
was that shot? The belt that the Hyperion drops.
The shotgun.
The Belcher or something like that, and it's just like the page. Well, it's just like it's.
You're starting to cut out, so I missed that. I know this. The what was his name? Hyperion drops the Norface or the Norfleet, which is that rocket launcher that I
He
wanted.
also drops like a really terrible shotgun.
Oh,
the Patriot.
Yeah, he drops the Patriot rifle and that shotgun. What the hell is that shotgun? It's a Seraph. It's freaking garbage though. It's like the worst gun in the game though.
The Retcher?
The Retcher. That's it. The Retcher. That the Seraph weapon that you drop and it shoots and it has no. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with that thing.
And the other good thing about Borderlands is say like even if somebody has not played Borderlands 2 or World of Warcraft, I would definitely recommend Borderlands 2 to you because A, it's cheaper
and
in the long run.
B, it's way more fun to play.
You're getting a solid game, good story. It is a little bit repetitive and grindy, but if you a challenge or if you're just perfectly fine with playing through the first two that's your but if you really want to go get open, it's just that by far was the hardest thing I've ever done in a video game.
Dude, OP8 I think made everybody in this room crazy.
Oh god.
Basically
yes.
Everybody lost their freaking mind. It was insane. That was one of those ones that Panda only got dragged through because we could not do it. Literally could not do it without Panda. And she was like, I don't want to do this. You're doing this. Get in here.
I did not want to do it.
We were racking our brains, and then point too where it would be like 1 or 2 in the morning, and we'd be like, yeah, we're being aggro. We're all basically tired, and this isn't helping.
We'll
resume this tomorrow.
That was actually fun though, because we'd sit there and we'd be like, dude, I'm frustrated. This is just going to get worse. And it was progressively, the more frustrated you got with the game, the worse and worse you would get. And then it was like, fuck those surveyors, screw the freaking guns.
The commentary about Salvatore riding.
Oh my god.
And the whole tattoo on.
Oh yeah.
Was amazing.
It
was worth it.
I still want to get the tattoo of Gunzerker riding a freaking surveyor saying, can you hit me? Hell no. You can kill it, but can you hit it? No.
Between a surveyor or Doc Mercy in OP8.
I'll take Doc Mercy.
Who's worse?
I'll take Doc Mercy. Doc Mercy, at least I can shoot. The surveyor you can't hit. Especially when you get the super badass surveyors at the end there.
Good at the surveyors. I think what we had... Dude, when we started one, and for everybody's like acknowledgement, we did it the first try.
On OP8?
But it was so nerve-wracking.
You talking about OP8, right?
Huh?
You talking about OP8, how we did that on the first try?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we...
No, we went through
first try, the one and only try.
No, we tried it before, and then the Saturn popped up way earlier when Panda was up in the top shooting things with the sniper rifle, and me and you just got raped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea where Deadly is, Senti. I haven't seen him in a minute, but he would probably enjoy being a part of this podcast. I don't know.
Because he was a part of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
forgot about that.
It was the very first time we went through it with Deadly that we actually
No,
managed
it
to
was
do it.
7 was the one we did the first try, but that
Yeah,
was
and
stressful, too.
that was shocking because we literally went through 1, 2 fine, and then we got to 3, and that's when it became Surveyor crazy, and that's where most of the commentary about the Surveyors and our hatred for Surveyors comes from. But it became super survey heavy, and then we had to get Panda, and we got up to 7 with the 3 of us. And 7, I don't know how we did it. We got really lucky and just kind of went right through it. Granted, I think it took us like 2 hours to get through that.
We also, other than me, we did a bunch of. I always played Gunzerker.
Mm-hmm.
You both had your Necromancer in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I gave up and went to Gunzerker.
Then switched to Gunzerker.
Hey, 2 Gunzerkers is better than 1.
and to switch to her Siren.
Yep. Yep, and that's when we started doing damage.
Yeah, the Sirens thing is just amazing. Oh, I don't know how many times I had fun with helping me out with the just get like I was just having fun the stupid bats and off in a distance. I was just like, ha, Siren.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you have all the elements.
Yep, that was nice too. And I liked the Macro very much so. And they did have problems where like certain characters would fall off. Macromancer did fall off. But it was still nice that I could shoot the Macro with whatever I was using, and that would then take on that element and do that job for me. But Gunzerker was just the best character in the game, and that's flat out the truth. He wasn't the funnest to play in all aspects, but he was the best to play. Especially for soloing, but like Krieg, Krieg I could never...
Now that I have Krieg the level 72, I want to definitely mess around with him.
Yeah, well, we have all the OP8 characters, which is nice. So, with that being the case, like, everything got OP8, which was freaking a mess. But that that game right there gave so much playability, and that is one thing I will say about the game. The graphics are a little outdated, which is fine. It's more of... It kind of feels like I'm playing a comic book when I play Borderlands 2. Which is, I think, what the devs were looking for. And they did really, really well for not having the graphic quality there. They put the game quality first, which was the most amazing thing about it. And yeah, I have things I could complain about all day with Borderlands 2, but overall, it's an amazing game. It was fun to play. I've got great memories from it.
Out of those 3, and we were talking about this earlier, that's why this kind of theme kind of came about. Well, not just... but same thing to me, but I'm going to also throw in Diablo.
Yes.
After I kind of got bored with World of Warcraft, I kind of, the better side of Blizzard still as a like, Diablo, I liked the first one, didn't play the second one.
Yeah. I played the crap out of the first one. I think it was Diablo 3 that I played the most of.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
But they let that game go too. But the reason why these fit to me is the co-op nature of them.
Yes, I will agree with that. And I like games like that. For Diablo being as much of a shit game as it became, and I'm not saying that it's not a good game. I'd still suggest playing Diablo over World of Warcraft any day of the week. But
yeah,
as it became, they did basically the same thing. They made it easy, and then they made it like unnecessary for all the grinding that you just did before they updated the system and did all this other crap. Especially the Necromancer patch. I don't know what the hell you were thinking with that. That was you made it too easy. It made everything I worked for months useless. So I mean. Still, granted, I like the co-op sections, and I like when you can get a game that you can play solo or play co-op, and that's kind of my huge thing with games. If I can't play it solo on my own, and I need 15 players or even just one other player to play it, I don't really want to play that game. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, exactly. Kind of my problem is when they make the Necromancer, it was fun for the season.
Yeah.
But it's really it's repetitive. It's really repetitive. Like, and then the game you're getting is very reminiscent to Fortnite.
Yes, and that was...
You're doing so much for so little that you just start to go, really? This is it? I've been doing the same thing.
Yep.
There's going to be kill 15 of this. Do this type of map 3 times at this high distance. And then you just go, there's really not much here. Why am I playing this?
Yep, no, I'm with you completely on that. It fell off, and that was the problem with it. I'm not really like complaining about the fact that you fell off of it, but yeah, you did kind of just drop off on that, and that sucked. Like, and I don't like when a game does that, because Diablo was a game that I would have played heavy, and I still liked the game. Like, I liked the game itself, but it just, again, it didn't play out as well as it could have. It feels unfinished. And that's my issue with games nowadays, is I love playing the games, and I love a good game. Like Raft, you haven't played Raft yet, but Raft is like the perfect game. It's simple, it's not hard mechanics, yes, it's kind of grindy, but you know what, I get to build, I get to explore, I get to go undersea, I get to fight a shark. You basically gave me what I'm going to do in the beginning of the game, and that's what I get to do. But for some reason, it's simple and enjoyable, and it feels like you polished your product with those 4 elements to be playable. And that's what I'm looking for. Like, I can build and do all that stuff, but I'm still underneath the constant threat of I might need food, I might need water, I got to take care of myself, I got to make sure my raft doesn't get eaten by the shark, so on and so forth. And that in itself is just enough to keep you annoyed, yet enjoyably played. If that makes sense. And if you can give me a game like Tales from the Borderlands was a beautiful game, and I have to give it to Gearbox. You're right on point with your games. All of your games, even if they're not completely polished, they feel finished, and that's what I'm looking for. When I play a video game, I'm looking for a very finished feel. I don't want to play a game where you've recycled the same crap 15 times and thrown it at me. Like, yeah, Borderlands did recycle some stuff, and much like Outlast, if you've ever played Outlast, the original Outlast was a great game, recycled. And a lot of like the riddles and stuff within that game, being one of the first horror games I played, it's still one of the games that I would go back and play again. Because of the fact that with Outlast itself, yes, you had to run from the big guy that was always trying to murder you, and then there was jump scares and all this other stuff, but it was still, you didn't throw the same basic thing at me every single time. Granted, the patterns became kind of repetitive and you could kind of get the cycle, but it was still enough to keep you on your toes, keep you moving, keep you having fun, and keep you interactive with the game. And that's the key to a good game, in my opinion. If you can balance it well enough that, yes, we're going to have to recycle something, and that's obviously going to happen in any game. Something's going to get reshuffled into it. But if you can balance it well enough to where I'm still enjoying it even when you're recycling it and making it feel finished, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly. It just really is not game. Like I said, it feels like a fuller game, and then it just doesn't. It just I thought that was acceptable, and why after all these things, why wouldn't you just hold off like for a month and a half to 2 months?
And finish it up.
Really big.
Yeah, and just clean it up. That's all you gotta do.
Just clean it all up. These like something gigabyte pack. Well, what the hell did you? There's a lot wrong. I mean, you're kind of punished in that game too for all out. Like got to the third. Remember you were like, oh yeah, helping me out with the second point, but by the time I was like Ghostville, like play anymore. Mm-hmm. You haven't been playing, but me and you both kind of just the way we talk about Fortnite now. It's like,
yeah, like don't get me wrong.
I'd rather play something else.
Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'll still play.
Exactly.
Fortnite.
Exactly. If I got the friends together and I can go into a match and hang out with you and Panda and even your brother or whatever, just me, you, and Panda at that rate, I'm going to enjoy the match because it's like, okay, we have friends, we're working together, it's good. Granted, it's recycled, but then I'm talking to people and I'm doing something other than just focusing on how shitty the game is. So it's fun.
Yeah, you can spend like a good 2-3 hours hanging out with your friends doing something that you all enjoy, and that's what's great about some of these co-op games, like. You know, Borderlands 2 is like a fantastic example. Played that game solo predominantly the first time, and I, you and Panda, and then this is like an entirely different.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Cinefuel wants to know how you guys feel about the Fallout series. Now, my personal opinion on the Fallout series, I hate Fallout. I've played it. I don't enjoy it. There's nothing about it I enjoy. It's too open world. There's not enough looter base. They kind of jacked up the looters a little bit. The weaponry in the game isn't effective enough to do what you need it to do, and I think that your quest system in that game is so distracted that you just half the time I'm running around clueless, and that's not a well built game to me. Like, if you're going to give me a game and give me an open world, give me something that I can stick to a main quest and kind of figure out where it is easily, and I don't have to fight with everything to do it. Yeah, granted, Fallout was awesome when you could become the biggest drug dealer on the planet, and that was cool. Then you make all these bottle caps, and you had nothing left to do. But Panda would probably disagree with me because she likes Fallout
I
series.
love the Fallout series.
So I'll let Panda tell you guys what she thinks about that.
I mean, it's
side.
like, I get what you're saying with the whole, like, it's hard to find out where you're going, but also at the same time there's markers, and if you really want a very short game, you know, just stick to the main story. Right. But, I mean, if you want a longer game, then, you know, you gotta go through all the different factions and see which one that you want to be in, and each one has a different ending for the story. But,
and that I could see. And I understand. I see where she's coming from, but again, my problem with Fallout is
completely changed since 1 and 2. 1 and 2 was a top-down version, like a top view, whereas now from 3 to 4, it's completely like RPG. You can customize everything in it and everything else. You don't have an overlord inside of the vault. You're actually on your own as a lone wanderer. Or a sole survivor.
That might be a little bit more cool. Like the newest Fallout coming out, I might be interested in because that's got a whole new design and they changed it up and the whole aspect changed. But as for Fallout as a series, I'm not a huge fan of it. And that's just me. I don't know where Cake stands on that. I think Cake's on my side of the fence with that.
I'm the fence that intentionally system in that absolutely terrible time. And it's too grindy. It was better in Skyrim as far as like the world of items, but it's just like it's the rehashed skins. It's like everything looks. There's not a much in the enemies, which I felt was the areas look better, but
yeah.
I paid for the season pass. So, well, actually, that's not true. I might play it, but I know it's going to be one of those things. I'm going to pick it up with every intent to like make a new character and kind of try to do something wonky and cool.
And I'm going to get 30 minutes in, and then I'm going to get bored. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that might take a day. It might take a week, but it's going to happen.
And that's my biggest issue with the Fallout series too.
The amount of time I'm going to play it is going to be not.
Yeah. It's not like, to me, it's not like Mass Effect where I could play for the game 5 times over and still be thoroughly happy with the game. Even though it's very heavy graphic build, I like the game. It kept me interested. It keeps you doing stuff, and that was something I liked about Mass Effect. Now, Fallout, on the other hand, becomes very, in my opinion, just going through the map and the way the zone looks, it makes me very, very bored with it very quickly. Like it's not an intensely interesting game that I want to sit back and hang out with. I'm sorry, I have people walking past my window here, so I'm getting weird shadows.
Might be your brother's friends.
It's probably my brother's friends.
Or your
Now,
brother.
Cake might agree with me on this, and he might not agree with me on this. And I know Panda's probably on the fence with that too, because she played the crap out of Skyrim. Elder Scrolls, I loved and hated at the same time. Elder Scrolls I loved because it was the biggest, glitchiest, stupid thing you could play, and you could break the game so hard. I loved that. I loved that, like, even in the Skyrim, if you got hit by that giant, it'd send you flying all the way across the map. Like, I made it a point to beat that game just because I wanted to see how many times I could glitch that game out. But overall, Skyrim was a fun game. The Elder Scrolls was a really fun game. I enjoyed it, but it had the same problem. It became very repetitive and very boring after a while.
I played Oblivion and I played Skyrim, and my problem was the leveling system to actually explode how to do it.
Yeah. See, my thing was I liked the game because I could go and create armor, and I could make this class, and I could make my own leathersmith, and I could do that. And if you give me that, I will play the crap out of your game. Give me stuff I can build. Give me things I can do to change my character. Give me stuff that I can do personally and go get the materials and upgrade my stuff, and I'll play your game. Just don't make it stupid grindy on top of that. And that's with games like that, those RPGs, they're, especially Skyrim. Skyrim was beautiful. I loved it. I played it through probably 5 times. I think I actually hold every achievement on the Xbox for that game. So that was one of them.
Which one?
Skyrim. Yeah, the Skyrim game. The Skyrim game was
one of the only
awesome.
games I actually got all the achievements actually happy for was BioShock.
See, and I hated BioShock. I absolutely hated BioShock.
I wish they would have made a co-op version of that game. That would have been sweet as hell.
I think had they made a co-op version of that game, I probably would have played it and enjoyed it much more than what I did. The little bit of it I did play was just confusing, and that was my issue. And Fortnite did the same thing. I almost didn't like Fortnite because it was just confusing to me. I don't want to be in a game where I'm walking in and things are just, oh, I'm lost and I'm confused and I don't know where I'm going and I don't know what I'm doing and I don't have this equipment and that equipment and so on and so forth. Elder Scrolls was awesome because you kind of knew where that was.
So for that, what sucks about, like he said, really that explains these things in depth.
Mm-hmm.
Actually raises your level in Fortnite. It's not your tech tree. It's not your research tree. It's
your survivors
using your points to build up your. And you got to put.
Yeah.
And you got to put them. You got to assign personality things, and I look at it all the time and go, I don't know what I'm doing, and then my brother looks at it and then fixes it for me, and then I gain like 4 or 5 levels just from that.
Dude, you know what though? We're here and we're talking about it, and I will agree with you. I do not care for Fortnite. I will play Fortnite because it is enjoyable. It's one of those games that I can zone out on and do what I want to do sometimes. If I just set it to private and play or play with a couple friends, but Fortnite very much like it had way more hype than it should have, in my opinion.
That's because it was mostly the
it was all the Battle Royale side. So where people wanted to see the campaign, well, the campaign, if you played the first map, you've seen the whole campaign. That's about it.
And just, you just, I wouldn't say the community is that salty. I don't have too many problems with people making too many comments or being outrageous.
The trade spam is annoying, and the I got scammed. Yep. And the thing I will throw, the only thing that really drives me crazy, and I will say the community of Fortnite is a decent community to play in. It's not super toxic. Like Dead by Daylight, oh my god, you want a toxic community, go play Dead by Daylight. Those people are salty as crap. The roof is salt, the walls are salt, the floor is salt, there's salt in the air, there's salt in your lungs, everything is covered in salt. That is, there you go, I just described and gave you the entire game of Dead by Daylight. That's what it is.
Death by salt.
Yep, Death by salt. And who is and by the way, those of you who keep asking me for the best killer or the worst killer in the game type thing, who's the meanest killer or the most deadly killer in the game of Dead by Daylight? It's survivors. It's not the killer. Survivors are what get you killed in that game because they're salty, they want blood points, and they want to farm you. And nobody gives a crap about actually winning anymore because the game is so balanced off that it's all survivors, and that's how it is, and the survivors get to do whatever the hell they want, and the killer's just stuck there running in circles because, oh, you put 30 pallets in a loop there, I can't catch you, and you're going to tell me that I need to get good scrub because, oh, the game is stacked in your favor. Or I'm a camper because I hooked you twice, left, went all the way across the map, came back, got your butt again because you're stupid and stayed there.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's another good game to talk about because that's another game that I time playing. We didn't play it together, but like
I want to play Dying.
I have played that game quite a bit, and it's hard to do and how to learn. Very rare somebody to finish a game, and if you feel like if you're it's a challenge and I don't just cheese it and just let me drop hatch, then a person adamantly to get me, but just like they were the hillbilly and their aim was off, and just try to give them like a tip on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the hillbilly's got
or
their
just something. Like, hey, that you're new. Hope you stick it out, and should assault as possible.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too was so the killer, if you're a killer in that game, and you play the hillbilly has a really mean right rip move on his chainsaw. So when you go, it automatically jerks you off to the side because they deemed him too good and they wanted to nerf him. So if you got a tree to your left or your right or wherever it whips you to, you're going to hit that tree no matter what you do. Unless you're tide timing, you're just freaking amazing and just screw off because nothing can stop you in that game. But, yes. We played with time, by the way. Yes, he is that good.
Yeah.
He made all of my tutorial videos look like garbage. Just absolute garbage. He basically just walked over me. It was like, heh, you suck, noob. It was like, Jesus, man, he's just amazingly good at what he does. So if you haven't seen him on Twitch, he plays it every night. Go ahead and check him out.
Well, not every night.
Well, basically every night. But yeah, he's pretty cool too. And that's actually where we learned all of our stuff about Dead by Daylight, and then we started learning and getting into the devs process and things like that. Now, Dead by Daylight, I'm one of those guys that will defend the killer even if you get me in a salty way. If you sit there and face camp me, I will still defend you because the game is stacked against you. And face camp is a strategy.
Yeah.
Granted.
I don't like it, but I'll get over it because you literally got to do what you got to do. I mean, I'm sorry, but I have to agree with you 100%. The game, that's why I'm not salty towards a kill, because the game is stacked against you.
Yeah.
And like you said, the only thing that's going to get the survivor killed is just doing what I would do. It's a that I got away with it as much as I did.
Cake, it's amazing. It's amazing that you ever made it out of a single match the way you play.
I can hear Team Money upstairs.
Oh, Team Money's here. Okay. Yeah. I will say, I played with Cake before. Cake is the guy that will sandbag the hell out of you. And then laugh about it knowing he did it. Cake's like, oh, I've been running from the killer for 5 minutes. You're hiding over there healing. Here you go, killer. Free kill for you. He did it to me. And it was the funniest thing ever.
I make friends quite literally.
Yep. He was like, oh, I gotta save my butt. Here, Eagle, you die. And then he laughed and didn't even bother saving me afterwards. He was like, nope, you're good. You got this. Dead by Daylight with friends is definitely worth playing, and I will play it anytime that friends want to play with that game, just because friends make it fun. When you can get rid of the salty community and the stupid salt that goes on, it's a lot of fun to actually play the game. But when you're playing the game as a solo runner, it's annoying.
And that just, if you let me, like, you know, chill out, and just, it's a game that I could kind of zone out on, and then but I could also be trying to be like, you know, I could switch to be the killer, and just be a fun, good time if you play it with friends.
Oh, yeah.
That's where they're going right with a lot of these But the problem off games where they get kind of late, the game itself is just not really finished. There could be or things to make it more like, I'm sorry, there should be like trap in Dead by Daylight, like the killer, but still pretty deadly, just traps to help out the killer because the survivor's favor.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to move around and avoid this shit while operators. Because as it stands right now, that's kind of what you want. You want somebody like me to like get the killer's attention, and then if they're know when to peel away, they're just gonna follow me around. Meanwhile, I'm willing to sandbag everybody on my team. So
you really are.
And then go high for a couple minutes, watch you get killed, watch you get on the hook, and then start basically sandbagging the killer.
Yeah, the next person. Yep.
Like, to me, it's almost like I'm playing tag.
That's basically what it feels like. The game is no longer a horror game. And the thing that I hate the most about the game, here's the problem with Dead by Daylight. You don't punish people hard enough for being baby ragers. And that is one big problem with the game. When you have 4 people in a match and somebody gets caught and then all of a sudden they're going to get hooked, and they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to rage quit, and they baby rage out of it. Yeah, you lose 2 pips, whatever. Nobody cares about pip points if you're baby raging. But you've now screwed over the entire balance of that match. Like, as a survivor, yes, with 4 people, you can make it out quite easily. But then you got that one dude who's going to baby rage because, oh, the killer found me first and I don't want to play now. And then you've got 3 people that now need to fix 5 generators to get out of there instead of 4 generators. So it kind of brings the balance back to the killer, which is good for the killer, but still baby ragers. You're playing a freaking horror game, for crying out loud. Stop baby raging. And my problem with Dead by Daylight 2
Real
is...
talk, I baby raged during Freddy when he first got introduced.
And the funny part is, Freddy isn't even that good. Freddy is literally the worst killer in the game.
Because I, like, the whole first week that he was introduced, because I hated him. And so maybe I might have helped inspire the community to be all like, yeah, he needs to get toned down, and then they messed with him even more and made him stupid.
Dude, they made him stupid right off the bat. They basically...
blame cake.
Yeah, hashtag blame cake. Anyway, they made Freddy...
Hey, I did bring down a Fortnite server.
You brought down the entire game of Fortnite, sir.
I did.
But I will say, though, with Dead by Daylight, and I will get to your question there, Senti, Dead by Daylight was a beautiful built game. Freddy on his own was a terribly built killer. They did not do him justice because his main weapon was so goddamn useless. His daggone weapon was wait 5 to 7 seconds, and at endgame was when you were the strongest if you had his perks. So, by all rights, he was basically... You took Freddy and put him in a horror game to make him a meme. And that's how that worked, which I'm not mad about, but I was upset because I was really excited about Freddy coming in. And then the same thing happened with Leatherface. Leatherface became stupid OP in some aspects, but then he's still a really crappy character in the end. He's kind of like that midsection. But he was supposed to be fun to play. And then the pig, I got the pig cake. I did buy the pig, and I played the pig, and I liked the pig.
Oh, yeah?
I like the pig. The pig is fun. Putting a bear trap on somebody's head is fun. However, still not one of the best killers in the game. So, they're very much about nerfing the killers because the baby raging community over here cries that the killers are OP. It's called Get Good. If you actually bother to learn how to play the game, you can beat a killer quite easily. But you don't bother to learn to play the game. Instead, you just want everything handed to you. So now they're going to nerf the killers. And you're making it to where you're not going up against an AI. You're going up against an actual person who's actually trying to kill you in a game. And you can't outthink an AI at that point.
I can summarize how salty the Dead by Daylight community is. Even go on the forums without... The moment you ask a sincere question, and you could even word it the right way and go, hey, I'm new, kind of noob question.
Mm-hmm.
just said, the get good, that is like, that's common.
Yeah, that's basically.
It's almost to the point where it's like a joke, like jokingly to Eagle, and he knows that. Just like I'm just saying it to just be like absurd.
Yeah,
because it'll
nerf.
You died to 8 direct, like face the most impossible odds, like.
Yeah.
So you can't have toxic where the people that want to play it and get familiar with it, the opportunity. And if you're somebody like me, like, yeah, I tried to play Overwatch thing.
Oh, dude, I tried. I liked Overwatch, but it became very...
Whoa, I really got I got an 8-year-old kid trying to punk me right now in Overwatch. This is kind of like, I'm about to beat up an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Overwatch was, and I do like that games give you this option. If you give me a game and you got a live chat community, let me turn off their mics. Number one, because one, I'm a streamer.
Yeah.
Two, I record most of the things I do. And three, I can't guarantee that you're not going to pop off at the mouth with some racial slur that I don't want on my channel. So allow me to turn it off. Would you complain about the kids on Fortnite saying crap or telling you that we're fat because we eat McDonald's and that's how it is? I never hear any of that because I turn off their mics. I refuse to get into the voice chats with random people in there. If you're going to come in and play a game with me, you're going to be on my Discord or in a room where we can hang out and I don't have to talk to everybody else. Because I can control the room.
The problem with on there is, like, I think if you play console, just like Call of Duty, everybody's mic is on.
Yeah.
So you always have, like, that one guy... this was Call of Duty. This was a couple weeks Call of Duty, and some guy was just drinking beer and just belching the whole time. And I'm just, it was funny, but at the same time, it was just like it.
It's kind of annoying.
Really obnoxious. My opinion is, if you're going to use a mic,
be respectful with it.
Yeah.
If you're
Nobody wants to hear you munching on potato chips. Nobody wants.
Oh, my favorite sound that you used to get was somebody sitting in their mic scratching their beard. It was like, really? Stop rubbing your beard, please.
It sounds like they're like inhaling their mic. It just sounds like there's like a wind tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that too. See, now, this is the last one I'm going to cover because I actually do want to get into some games today as well, and we're going to be doing probably Borderlands, the original one. But the thing I'm going to cover there is, as I'm going to eat my mic while I do it, so anyway. The last thing is the West of Loathing. By the way, I don't know if you played West of Loathing yet, Cake?
No.
If you haven't, get it. If you guys in this chat have not played West of Loathing yet, get that game. It is by far the greatest, funniest game I've played in a long time. I love everything about it. We just went through the Troll Cave, which will be coming up in the next 2 episodes because I had to cut it in half. But you got the Troll Cave, you got plenty of exploration, you got really, really dumb dialogues that is just hilarious. And I have seen it.
Called again?
It's called West of Loathing. Yeah, I actually have it on my channel too. If you wanted to check that out before you bought it, Cake. But it is hilarious.
I'm going to look at a video right now.
It is goddamn hilarious. I love everything about that game. It's simple built. It's a stick figure game. Okay, Mike.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I lowered it.
Okay. Yeah. The very fact that West of Loathing was created, it proves that you do not need to make a game visually appealing for it to be a fantastic game. And that game does nothing but make me laugh to the point where Panda has to do all the reading.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is this co-op?
No, me and Panda will sit on the same computer and play it at the same time. I don't know if it's actually co-op.
No.
But if you haven't played it and you want something that is just like, it goes from gross and disgusting, hilarious, like defecation and sticking your head in a spittoon pot and all this other stuff, right over to just like the common funny of jacking up words and telling you that you're a jackwagon and this, that, and the other. It's just beautifully played. They did it perfectly, and it just proves that a short game and a fun game can be done without putting a ton of production behind it. It's just a matter of keeping your content running. And that game right there, on my final note, that game is fantastic.
It looks pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was co-op, but, you know. See, that's the other thing. So, like, the Forest, that's co-op, right?
Yes, the Forest is co-op. Kit Kat has it. Lock Skylight has it. And Kit Kat does occasionally play it. If you get it, we will play with you. And that's one of those things where Panda and I kind of stick together in that game. So if we're going to go out and explore, we all decide, hey, we're going to go out and explore. If we're going to build, we all go, hey, we're going to build.
Does it run smoother than Ark?
Yes. It runs way smoother. There are some hiccup spots, but nothing like the lag I've seen in Ark. And the fun part is there's no tether. There's absolutely...
Oh, you got me sold already.
There's absolutely no tether. If you want to run all the way across the map to the other end of the world and fall off of it, I can sit right where I'm at and you can do that. So that's the thing that I like about that. And yeah, it's the Forest just got updated, which means that I'm going to be playing it very soon, but we got to get it fixed on Panda's computer too.
Yep.
So if you wanted to play with us, that's when I'm going to go into it. And it's one of those games that's simple, yet amazingly fun to play. It just proves again that you can do that stuff.
It's $20, but
yeah.
if you, because I'm kind of tight on money at the moment.
Yeah. Well, don't buy it yet, Cake. I'll let you know when I'm about to get into it, which will probably be next month. So June, July. What is it? June right now?
Yes.
So July is probably when I'll get into it.
Yeah, I can afford to get it. If it's $20 next month, I can afford to get it then.
Yeah.
But I just need to be somewhat stingy with this month.
Yeah, no, I'm not telling you to buy it.
So.
Yeah, it basically boils down to this.
It's like a game I would definitely get.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the thing is too, it's kind of arky and it's kind of not like. I wish it was like. Even
how elaborate is the building? Like what like how in depth is that?
Ark meets Minecraft. Can I make that a statement? I don't know how to explain that. The building is like. Well, you haven't played Raft, so I can't compare it to that. It's kind of like the Horde Fort building. No, it's not bad that you spent $50 on games this week. I used to spend up to $200-300 a week on games. That's why I have 80+ games in my library. But the way I can describe, so the Forest building is like camping meets First World Army build. So you got like stick forts and things like that. And it's actually kind of fun. You can make it out of rock.
Survival kind of game.
Yeah, it's basically a survival build, which is what I like to do. So you've got that aspect, and I still have achievements I need to go and hunt down on that. But as for the building aspect, I think you'd enjoy it, just not as much as like the free world exploring and killing stuff type deal. You can hunt, you can fish, you can do it. Basically everything you can think of in that game, you can do. It's a real-time survival game.
Yeah.
Which is what I think you'll like about it. But again, I think the price is a little high for it. I think you should be running it at maybe like $14.99, $13.99, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think that would be more like a reasonable level of what I'd be willing to spend on a game like that. Because it doesn't have huge playability behind it. If that makes sense. Like, you're going to play it for a week and then you're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go play something else.
What, the Forest?
Yeah. The Forest is one of those games
it's not a very long game?
No, not at all. I think me and Panda beat that game in, 12 hours?
Here, I actually haven't played it since, so
it's like 12 hours of action. If we weren't messing around building...
21 hours total.
Yeah.
So less than a day, you can...
Yeah, and we messed around and built this giant elaborate fort to do it with. So it was like, okay, you can do that, or you got the other end where you can just go and do the main story, and that probably, I think honestly it would take you maybe 6 hours to really beat that game if you focused only on the story and didn't build a hut or anything to survive in. So again, it has the playability, and it's got achievements for being the guy who doesn't go and do the main mission. It just sits there and builds things for 100 days, which is kind of fun. But then you've got the other one where it's like you can just bum rush the game and get all the cool stuff. So
Yeah.
Again, I think you'd enjoy it, but it's not one of those ones that's going to be like Borderlands 2, where you jump on it and you're stuck in it for 6 months with good friends. And we're up till 4 o'clock in the morning pretty much every night laughing like retards.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, I'd still like to check it out, but...
Yeah. So the way that...
I'm disappointed that it's not a little bit longer than that, though. See, that's where I'm at, though. I want to get, like... I'm basically waiting for Borderlands 3 to come out.
Yeah, I was going to end the stream on that one, but as for Borderlands 3, I'm still very, very concerned about how they're going to do that. I'm excited, but I'm very concerned. I do not want to see this turn into a Diablo, WoW, or Fortnite. Please, for God's sakes, get off that wheel.
Yeah.
Like, Fortnite, or not Fortnite, I'm thinking Fortnite because I'm an idiot. The Borderlands 3 game, I really think it has... And I've said this before, I think it has the potential to take a top spot on the market that nobody's going to be able to touch. If it's done right and you don't really tweak too much and you basically you take what you have there and make it better, it will by far rule the market of top games. And at that point, you can put yourself as a standalone company as 2K Games and Gearbox. And that's where everybody's going to recognize that name and be like, yeah, that's the best company out there right now. If you do the game right, though. But if you do it wrong and you make it a Destiny clone, people are going to be like World of Warcraft, where all of your diehards are gone.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where to stand on that. What I heard about that whole Destiny clone comment was somebody made an article saying that's what they wanted, but that's not what the majority of people wanted with that game.
Yeah.
So hopefully...
Well, Gearbox does seem
Gearbox does not take that guy seriously.
I think Gearbox is one of those people that will cater to a community based off of, like... They'll listen to what we want as a community. And I've noticed that with the patches, even for Borderlands 2, as we were going through it. The DLC was still... We're listening to what you guys want, we're trying to deliver that. Granted, OP8 was like, alright, fine, you guys want some more crap and you want to level more, here, take this is the hardest thing we could possibly think of, throw it at you, here's a badass surveyor, here's a badass this, here's freaking Saturn, for crying out loud, oh, and go get 011011011, asshole.
oh my god, what the WTF?
Yep. Like, Borderlands 2,
yeah.
I think very much with their gameplay, granted their graphics were not up to the par of what today's graphics are, but I think, again, graphics are not the most important thing to me.
Borderlands 2, what that game needed was more loot. It needed more diverse loot. That's really the only thing it really needed.
I think what it needed most was the fact that you could play a character, and every character we had an unkempt herald. There was no weapon that in any other chart that equaled out to an unkempt herald. And that was my problem with the game. It's like, you made this awesome loot system, but you made the drop rate for the conference call retardedly hard. The warrior dropped absolute garbage. Half the crap that came out that was legendary that I wanted to use was garbage compared to the unkempt herald, so you didn't balance guns.
Yeah.
Which is basically, I hope, if they take Borderlands 2 and make it Borderlands 3 and balance the guns so that way you have the unkempt herald, something like the teeth of rape your a-hole or whatever on the next one in assault rifles, or the snipe your one eye sniper rifle, whatever you want to call it. If you put that in there and they're all equally based and there's one top gun in each class, that would be cool.
Or, make guns for certain situations or even novelty items, but just make sure that their garbage or their damage is not just such complete garbage that you would just never use it.
Yeah, and that's exactly
that's literally the problem. I mean, as you pointed out with the unkempt herald, there's just literally nothing else that can do that much damage.
Yeah, exactly. The double unkempt herald is
unless you're using like a Northfleet rocket launcher. So
yeah, and that one you're liable to blow yourself up, but it's still fun.
I mean, the Northfleet just that's kind of part of it too. They need to make just better weapon variety and just, you know, fill up the game and have like miscellaneous bosses, just random. I mean, there's just so much stuff they could have done. And you know, world drops should be more of a thing. Like you should be able to get like an item, kind of like World of War, or yeah, how World of Warcraft was. If that was your thing, I mean, it was kind of rewarding to just find random, really good items that were super rare because they were world drops. You know.
Yeah. And that was the thing too. Like I like going into the areas and finding that stuff, and I love finding the novelty guns, like the what was it, the Baby Maker? Dude, that gun sucks for damage, but reload it and throw it at something, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Which I do.
Especially good on accident.
Yeah, especially on accident. But I do need to make the like top 10 videos for that again, and we will be playing through that. I know Panda's probably got a lot to say about the Borderlands 3, what she hopes from it. Right?
Well, it's still hush-hush on it. They haven't released anything yet. But one of the people that we watch on YouTube, he's still saying that it's going to be within the next fiscal year. But yeah. I've seen the photos, and I know that they're going to be keeping, like, the cartooniness of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that they're going to keep the humor with it.
Yeah, that's a concern of mine. I am concerned to see what they do now that Handsome Jack is kind of gone from it.
And I want to know what they're going to do with Tales from the Borderlands and Borderlands 3. If it's
and Scooter better have lived.
I just hope that, like, I just want to know if everything from that is canon or not.
I don't know if that's a good point. That I don't know if that one's canon or not at all. But I'll tell you what, if we go into Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina is a playable character and Scooter's dead because of that, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be stupid happy because Tiny Tina is a playable character. If they kill Claptrap, I'll be freaking fantastically happy about that too.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No, dude, Claptrap is like...
How about we put Handsome Jack in Claptrap's body?
Oh, God.
Oh, now that would be a game I would play just to see how funny that works out. Because, like, Tales from the Borderlands... It made me laugh so freaking hard, dude. I'm not even kidding you. When we played Tales from the Borderlands, and the Jack AI came in, and he's like, "Oh, we should be running now." And Jack's like, "What are you talking about running? You're the only one running. I can fly." Like, this is stupid shit. Like, that was great. It made it like you can't take that humor away.
Yeah.
But Handsome Jack.
And that's what was great about Tales from the Borderlands, because it was still you could definitely tell that the writing was still there. So I'm not that worried about the humor and the writing side of Borderlands 3. I think they're gonna get that right.
Yeah, the only thing
I'm really just gonna be, are they gonna be lazy about fine tuning their game, or are they just gonna basically? Yeah, are they just going to basically clone Borderlands 2 and just, updated graphics? And here's the other thing. With the way that Borderlands 2 ended, they really leave it to believe that Borderlands 3 is going to be a huge, huge game.
Yeah, and I'd be okay with it. My biggest concern is how open world are you going to make it? And how much reliant on other players are you going to make that? If you take away my ability to do it as a solo game, you're going to kill it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to play the game with my friends and do what I want to do and play your game. And I will go through, like, if it's jumping from world to world, that'd be a cool idea. But it's a really cool concept to do the whole jump from world to world thing. But I've never actually seen that worked out to where it's clean, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like, it always feels like this was an idea that just wasn't polished. So if they do it, I think Gearbox has the ability to make that happen and make that open world, jumping from world to world thing clean and polished looking and looking fantastic. But past that, I don't even know what they're going to do. So I'm very excited to see it. But with them pushing their release date back, I'm not really too concerned about what they're going to do, because it's obvious that they are trying to make their game clean.
Yeah.
And that's alright, since if you take off, it's not like the end of the world for us. We'll be ending the stream soon anyway. But I appreciate you hanging in here and talking and doing all that stuff. What's up, Cake?
Yeah, I really, I don't have too much more to say about Borderlands 3, because it's kind of just a wait and see what they do, what they don't do. And it's the game I'm looking forward to the most. I mean, I've been looking at other games, but I just kind of keep telling myself, like, I'm going to have to wait, like, another year.
You know what, though?
I think I heard something like it got delayed.
It did.
Like, it's not gonna come out.
It's supposed to be next year.
Maybe like 2020 or something, or 2019.
Yeah.
I think it's 2019 is when they said it.
Yeah, it should be out by March of next year. Yeah. Anytime between now and then.
Yeah, anytime between now and March next year. So, yeah, and
I'm fine with it coming out in March 19th. My thing is, and I think like you, it's like, I do not want an unfinished product. I do not want something they're going to have to patch all the time right from the get-go.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm concerned with. I do not want to see basically Diablo, Fortnite, or World of Warcraft turn into Borderlands, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want them to take that path. I want them to polish their game, and I don't mind waiting if you're going to polish your game and make it a fantastic game. Like, please, by all means, the entire community is okay with waiting to get that perfect polished finish. Like, just don't...
Yeah, especially for, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I guess this is, like, not to like, fluff up Gearbox's ego, because they made a lot of questionable moves in the beginning, like, with their involvement with the Aliens vs. Predator game or whatever, and then they possibly used a lot of that money to put in the Borderlands 2, because the game is so much better looking from Borderlands 1 to 2.
Yes,
2 is just far superior. It's playing Borderlands 1. It's like I want to play through it because I want to see the story. But yeah, I made the mistake of playing Borderlands 2 first.
That's it. Yep.
But I'm happy I did, because Borderlands 2 was such a good game that it actually convinced, I figured I played the pre-sequel too, and I
have to say I didn't care for it. Yeah, but that's because I started on Borderlands 2, and then you go from Borderlands 2 backwards, and it doesn't give you that same effect from going Borderlands to Borderlands 2.
Yeah, I just didn't like the way Handsome Jack had to be in that one.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
I got to be honest. I don't like him as like the trying to be somewhat nice at all.
It's a nice perspective to look at what made him become what he is. But I would agree. I like the charismatic, just in your face, I'm a jackass, and that's the way it is. Boulder Basic. I've heard that game. I don't know that game. I'll check it out though. But guys, on that note, I think that's where we're gonna kill this podcast for the time being. I think we've overrun our time a little bit, so it's been fun, and we got a lot more games covered than I thought we would. So
yeah,
be sure to let us know if you'd like to see this. We're gonna try and schedule this down to where we do like once a week, bringing everybody from chat in and actually hanging out with you guys and getting the opportunity to talk about these games and bring these things up, tell you what we think and how we'd improve on it, bad sides of it, things like that. But yeah, aside from that, also make sure you all get back here on July 13th, because we're going to be doing the St. Jude's Children's Cancer Research Foundation charity stream. That is a very long name. We have merch as well, which I think it's in the description, so go ahead and check that out. Let me know what you think about that. If you'd like to see something added, that's cool. And past that, this has been Eagle Eye Gaming, Private Panda, and Cake and Stitches, here with your what's hoping to be a weekly podcast. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We appreciate it. And we will see all of you and your beautiful faces in the next stream. Bye-bye.